ready for camp. I love hearing TJ. It's like the collective voice of the Cowboys. Everybody gets excited. There's new hope. Because even though they went in that 12-5 run last year, it just felt like that playoff game against the 49ers where they ran the quarterback draw with, 13 seconds to go. They don't hand the ball to the ref. There were just so many questions about this team and how, once again, it just felt like the wheels came off the bus. So I know there's a huge fan base of fans just like you, TJ, just very excited for camp and any Cowboys news that comes out of it.
NFL Network reporter and friend of the show, Jane Slater, checking in. And later on in the show today, Jane, we're going to have our list of top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. We've got 3 lists, one from me, one from TJ, one from Brockman. How many of those lists do you think are going to feature CeeDee Lamb?
It's hard. I don't know what to make of CeeDee Lamb, because was CeeDee Lamb effective because of Amari Cooper, and then we had some of the drops last year, or is he going to step up and really embrace that role? I think the biggest push that I kept hearing, whispers around the building, was the frustration that they wouldn't get the ball to the playmaker. In other words, who is your playmaker? And it was Amari Cooper. If you'll remember when Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback in Minnesota, he was the playmaker. You put the ball in Amari's hands and you win the game, a game that they weren't expected to necessarily win on the road. And so I think that's going to honestly be the biggest question mark heading into training camp, besides who's going to be the kicker, is can CeeDee Lamb really step into that role? And by the way, they've got Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, and you're not going to have Michael Gallup the first couple of weeks. And then Noah Brown is always a really strong candidate that really steps out in camp, and then you see sort of flash them during the season. So maybe we see an increased role for him. But I have a hard time answering your question there, Ben, because I don't quite know what to expect from CeeDee as he steps into that role. I know that he does all the things the right way. He's been getting in a lot of reps. I have a ton of respect for him just as a person and as a human. But in terms of, is he going to emerge as that guy in Dallas? There's a lot of pressure when you wear the 88. We'll see. I think there's a lot of question marks on this team, specifically offensively.
He's definitely one of my favorite young players in the league, so I'm keeping my eyes on CeeDee Lamb this year. And another question mark in Dallas is around Ezekiel Elliott. TJ, of course, had him on his top 10 running backs list yesterday. Whether it's health concerns, off the field stuff, whatever it is, there's always question marks around Zeke. What are you expecting from him this season? And talk to me about the state of Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, I saw him, it was OTAs or minicamp, it was OTAs, and I pulled him off the side as he was walking out of the locker room, and I asked him, I said, how hurt were you last year? And he told me he had a PCL on his right side, and it happened after Carolina. I said, how did it affect your game? And he said it really impacted his ability to separate, in other words, to really sort of get the ground and the burst that he needed. And so I get the sense that he's healthy. These off-the-field issues haven't been a problem in Dallas really in the last 3 years. And it was Dak who even said, and of course they're best friends, so you expect this, but he said when healthy, he thinks Zeke is the best running back in the league. It's just hard when you've got guys like Dalvin Cook and whatnot, who in the last couple of years have really emerged as strong running backs, what to expect from Zeke. I think sometimes, too, when you get the contract with the extra zeros and you saw him do the holdout and, shout out to his agent, Rocky Arsenault, that may be the biggest running back contract we ever see again, just because we've seen how it's played out with some of these guys. But I think because of that contract, there's been just increased scrutiny on him. And it doesn't help that you have a younger guy like Tony Pollard, who a lot of people think should be getting more reps. And I would also submit that with that offensive line, Zeke's first couple of years when you had Travis Frederick at center and you had a healthy Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, all those guys, that's why Zeke was able to be as successful as he was. And you've really seen a deterioration of that offensive line. And by the way, you're going to have a rookie on that line this year. Tyron Smith, you hope that he stays healthy. We've definitely seen, some of the injuries pop up in recent years. And so, it's not just one thing, right? And so I think there's a couple of things that are going to play in here, but, I've seen him doing more working out in the last 2 off seasons than we've seen him do before. But I think he's better when Dak's healthier, and he's better when you've got a strong offensive line. I think that really does apply to any running back, though.